Hi everyone, welcome to another week in review. It's Saturday on the East Coast, 12 midnight, and we're here doing our thing. So, I won't be long before you all. So, we're going to say these COVID numbers. Hello to everyone that came on. So, I'm about to get into these numbers according to the World Health Organization, also known as WHO. Global cases. There were 2,846 new cases around the world. Overall, we have 771,191,203 cumulative cases of COVID-19. In terms of the fatalities, we have 6,961,014. In the United States, of course, we have not reported no new cases, but we still got the highest cases on the globe. So the exact number is 103,436,829. It's probably more because there's been outbreaks of COVID-19 cases. In terms of the fatalities is 1.1 million. The exact number is 1,127,152. Now, COVID-19 cases that have been outbreaks lately. So for the latest variant, everyone has it again, so this variant is EG.5. It's the name of the newest subvariant of the Omicron variant of COVID-19, even though the World Health Organization has revised its naming of the conventions to reserve the Greek labels only for the variants of concern. Some online have unofficially named this new variant EG.5. The current cases are in the Bay Area of California. And there's been hospitalizations, even though it fell, but is rising again. As of October 7th, it shows that 1,396 people are now hospitalized with COVID statewide in California. So the surge in the infections of it is kind of expected at the latest surge for several reasons. The first from epidemiologist and infectious disease expert says more people have been moving around according to numbers of travelers and mixing people from more risky with less risky areas. So parts of California has some risky areas. So whatever is a less risky area, you see more of an outbreak versus a condensed area like here in New York City. But then you saw some cases in New York City over the summer. So, yeah. So the symptoms of COVID is fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headaches, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. And then there's some pink eye symptoms as well. So if you can, please buy a test. Get vaccinated if you have not got vaccinated yet. It's 70% of the world is vaccinated. So please take this seriously because we're entering the fall months. This is cold and flu season. Stock up on your medicine. Stock up on your NyQuil, whatever, or Robitussin, whatever you take. Dimetap, if that's still around. What is it? Vicks Vapor Rubs. Vicks cough drops. Menthol, to be exact. Or Ricola. And mostly wear your mask. Even though you're vaccinated, wear your mask. I wore 2 masks today. 2. Because you never know. Or wear N95. N95s are highly recommended, but we know sometimes it's a shortage of N95s. So wear your surgical and wear cloth mask all over the surgical just in case if you get a cold air coming in. Or 2 surgicals. Whatever how you want to do it. So that's it. So now on to this conflict in Israel. I am not a person of geopolitics. I have said this before. I have working knowledge of geopolitics. I don't know geopolitics. But what I'm seeing in the region, I see a lot of families being slaughtered. Hamas is a threat, even though we have to have sympathy for the people in Palestine and Israel, but we can condemn Hamas. So again, you can have sympathy for people in Israel and the Palestine. Excuse me. Let's rephrase this. You can have sympathy for Israelis and Palestinians, but you can condemn Hamas. And there's some people on the very, very fringe far left that cannot condemn Hamas. You need to condemn Hamas. Because yes, it's important to have sympathy for the Palestinians, but you can also have sympathy for the Israelis too. I don't know why is an ideological divide on this issue. This is a humanitarian crisis. This is a terrorist crisis. And I will just leave it as that. How this will affect our government? Well, it's affecting our government because we don't have a functioning House of Representatives. Like, we have a divided Republican Party and a united Democratic Party. We have a Republican Party that has the majority in the House that can't even govern. I mean, Republicans in the last 50-something years are not great at governing. I think the last Republican that knew how to govern was Eisenhower, because Nixon was a mess. We know Reagan governed for one section of the country, well, one demographic of the country. And we know the Bushes were not that strong enough. And of course, we're not even going to talk about that bum who is like the cause of all of the mess that's going on, right? In this country and even across seas. So we have a very divided government. We have the House of Representatives on the Republican side that are a mess. We have some Republican senators. They're divided too, but you just don't see it for right now. But we have a very divided government. But thankfully, we have a functioning administration that is standing in solidarity with the Israelis. We have a functioning government that understands geopolitics. We got a leader who will know how to lead with his vice president on the side. Yes, her. That's a functioning team. Because on the other side, you got a clusterfuck. It's a hot mess on that other side. I don't want to be on that other side. And I don't want to associate with that other side. And no, it's not divisive. It's what we all seeing on display that has been talked about for a long time. The Republican Party always been divided. That's what people don't understand. But everybody's talking about Democrats. We are divided on ideology, but when it comes to doing something for the American people, we stand together. We know how to govern. It's record that we know how to govern. Because look, when we govern, the people do better. When Republicans govern since 1968, you see what happens. It's always crises. With the last person in office, not to be named, there was a whole global pandemic that happened. So, yeah. But we have a dysfunctional House who are electing leaders that are very, very extreme, right, and crazy, and basically sympathetic to white supremacy and white domestic terrorism. and anti-humanitarian crisis, anti-geopolitics. So with this whole thing in Israel, yeah, it's on those people because they need funds and they need money. And our house is supposed to appropriate that money because the executive branch can't do much. So, and honestly, you my friend, but both parties are not the same. Because we see one party that is for domestic terrorism while the other party is trying to keep our democracy alive. And I say this to people that I love. That other side ain't trying to govern. Because that other side denied a whole election, denied a whole insurrection, and denied that there was a whole global pandemic that happened that took over millions of people's lives. Especially here in this country. I don't want to be on that other side. No, thank you. And that's real. So yeah, that house is in shambles, and they just nominated a speaker who is very far extreme, anti-humanitarian efforts, anti-globalism, anti-everything that the Republican Party once stand for. Because the last time I checked, they're the ones that were the globalists, the party of family values, the party of humanitarian efforts, and now they're just the party of isolationists, domestic terrorists. It's a hot mess. Like I said, I don't want to be on that other side. I'd rather be on the side of blue and the side of governing for the people and the side of keeping democracy alive. And speaking, how this going to affect the 2024 elections, people are watching. And unfortunately, we got to cater to those people in the Rust Belt. I'm looking like this because those people in the Rust Belt, they be making the wrong decisions. The ones that don't look like me. They keep voting in these people who don't care about them, that are beholden to their donors and not beholden to them. And they get mad when they go to a town hall. They ask all these questions and they get the bullshit answers. I've seen the town halls with Chuck Grassley, with Joni Ernst, when they do their town halls. They give BS answers to why they vote the way they vote. Even Tom Cotton. They all give BS answers to why they vote the way they vote. If they just say, I'm voting in the interest of my donors, I can keep my seat. They don't want to hear that. Nobody want to hear that because they're not going to get their seat. I mean, when people are going to wake up and realize that these people are not going to care. But unfortunately, we got to rely on those people's votes in the Rust Belt. Well, I have hope, my friend. I have hope. We could agree to disagree, but I have hope. And we got what, 20? It's 22 and a half months. No. Oh, no, it's 25 months. Oh, God, it's 24 and a half months until next year's election. There we go. Wait, no. Scratch that. My numbers are off. We got 13 months until the 2024 elections. 13 months. 13. It's going to be a long winter. I'm going to be cozy in my house. I mean, I work from home anyway. But it's going to be a long winter. And speaking of 2024 elections, so that we know the GOP primary is a hot ass mess. You know, none of them is, competent to lead this country on some real shit. But on the blue side, you got the crystal ball lady, you got the reject Kennedy child, and then on the Green Party, you got the rusty, ashy one that keeps wearing the same black jacket over and over again, who got mad child support, debt, backed up, old taxes like a motherfucker. And then there is TYNT. Yes, that guy. Hello. So, that guy. That one that looked like Jabba Nut, aka Jake Uyghur, is running for president. So, according to his tweet, he stated this: "Yes, I'm running against Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination. Joe Biden is down 24 points on the economy. He has no ability to make up that kind of ground. The most important issue, we need new leadership." So, readers' context. X was smart to put out this. Believe it or not, I'm giving people their props. Jake Uyghur was born in Istanbul, Turkey, and this is constitutionally ineligible to run for president of the United States, stated by Article 2, Section 1. It's literally there. Like, Article 2, Section 1 states that a natural-born citizen can run for president. Natural-born. Well, his parents are American, but he's not. He was born in Istanbul, Turkey. I'm pretty sure it says it on his birth certificate, too. So, therefore, he's ineligible to run for president. Like, Jake Uyghur couldn't even win his own congressional race 3 years ago to save his life. He came in dead last. How the hell is he going to challenge the sitting president when he couldn't even challenge the quote-unquote establishment candidate in his party? Everybody knows he's a grifter. Everybody knows he's controversial. I mean, he stated in one of his videos that he is for bestiality. I wouldn't want to vote for someone like that in my party, or be associated with someone like that in my party. So good luck to the ineligible person running for president. I hope it's a good grift, because he's going to need some money to pay his people at TYNT, because I'm pretty sure none of them is getting paid a high salary. I mean, for crying out loud, some good folks left, like Brooke Thomas left. Yup. And all these people that want new leadership, if you want new leadership, I suggest you vote. Well, you should assess the candidates that are running, because it seems like no one really has a plan but the current administration. The current administration, if it wasn't for them, none of us wouldn't have the vaccine. None of us wouldn't have been in rejoice with our families, our friends. Yeah. That administration, the old guy, the 80-year-old. Yeah. Because all these people want to put up these sitting governors that has less than 10 years of experience serving in an executive office should really shut the hell up. And some of those governors you guys want, they're surrogates for the current administration. And even in 2028, I don't really see them getting elected for the office because you got to have foreign policy experience. Half of them are not like in tune with the mainstream Democrats in the party. I'm not being mean, I'm being real. So I'm fine with that old guy and that Black and South Asian woman. Okay? I know that I could sleep at night because with the last administration, your TV was on, your phone was beeping because it's always a news alert because you're always doing some dumb shit. That's what happens when you vote for people that don't have no government experience. You got to vote for people that are seasoned. And I'm taking the words of what Alexandra Pelosi said today on The View. You got to have people with experience that know geopolitics, that know domestic policy, and that knows foreign policy. Because everything is so jacked up right now. Overseas and everywhere. Everywhere is effed up. Everything. We're in a global recession. Not a domestic recession, a global recession because Europe is struggling. They're struggling way worse than we are. The African continent, struggling. We know Russia, we sanction Russia in the motherfucker. And even in Asia, they halfway like that. Why you think China is on some bullshit? And this whole thing in Israel, I'm assuming, because Putin is real silent, G is real silent, so we don't know what's going on with our adversaries over there. I mean, all of this could have been nipped in the butt if we had a competent leader that was elected in office prior to this administration. Because this administration is playing cleanup not just domestically, but across seas. It's crazy. And y'all want sitting governors who have not even serving in office for 10 years to be elected in office? With all of this crises going on? You guys have lost your motherfucking minds. Those so-called posters. The Bills Crystals of the world. Stop fucking listening to him and David Ignatius and dumbasses. They're just talking heads. And even stop listening to Alyssa, too. Jesus Christ. I'm done. This was not a long live because I'm tired. I had a long day. It's been a busy news cycle with all of this stuff that's happening across, in the Middle East, and then the shit here, with these fools. Absolutely. And the shit here with these Republicans, with their bullshit, can't even elect the speaker because they can't, shit like this happen. This is what happens with the shambles in the House. This is what happens when you elect Republicans. You get shit like this. It's always a crisis on the rise to happen. When you elect Democrats, and I'm not saying because I am, but when you elect Democrats, shit gets done. Nancy Pelosi had the votes. Despite the fact 5 people didn't vote for her for speaker, which they were middle of the road Democrats. But she got the votes. And she got shit done when she was the speaker. That's why she's Speaker Emerita. Forever Speaker Nancy Patricia D'Alessandro Pelosi. Because she gets stuff done. And it's proven record. If it wasn't for her, the economic stimulus bill wouldn't pass. The ACA wouldn't pass. The American Rescue Plan wouldn't pass. Infrastructure bill wouldn't pass. Let's see. The Respect to Marriage bill wouldn't pass. The George Floyd bill passed in the House, but dead on arrival in the Senate. thanks to Timothy Eugene Scott, who's running for president. So a lot of things got accomplished under her. Also, 2 impeachments, even though these knuckleheads in the Senate acquitted him. She got shit done. And that's why Nancy Patricia D'Alessandro Pelosi will always be forever Speaker. Speaker Emerita. And yes, Alyssa. She's running for office because we need experienced people. If it wasn't for older people like her and Maxine Waters and Stony Hoyer and James Claiborne, we would have been screwed. This whole country. And the people that you work for, Alyssa, they were never great people. I mean, your father's not even a good person. But I digress. Voting for these older Democrats, and yes, they're older, but they're the ones that's saving our lives and saving our asses. So there you have it. Yes, Scott, absolutely. I'm calling this a night. Deuces, peace and love. If you live on the East Coast, you're going to experience some rain, especially if you live in the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic. Stay safe. If you're in the South, you're going to experience some cold fronts happening. Living out West, be careful. Be careful. And even my Midwestern folks, be careful. Until then, have a good night.